Can everybody hear me? Checking in, just checking my sound. Probably can't hear me over the there we go. All right, fantastic. Let me adjust my headphones. Ugh. All right. Deep Hope 87. Let's go. I love it. I love it. I love the energy. Sunday night, Halloween night. I got my candle over there in the background. Nobody can see it, but welcome in, everybody. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I never really know how these rooms are going to go or how they're going to function. The goal is to do a live Q&A. So you drop questions in and I do my best to answer them. Some people have super specific questions like I get questions about felonies, about child care, about what happens when you do child care and you didn't pay your child support. There's a word for it. You know what? I watch a lot of Judge Judy, and I cannot remember that term. But I want to say it starts with the R or something. But yeah, definitely when So I get questions like that go outside of my expertise, is what I'm saying. Those types of legal questions. But most people come into this room because you are either one of three people. Either you just found out about adjusting, you learned about adjusting and you're trying to figure out what your next step is, or you're an adjuster and you're trying to figure out work. So I'm going to share my screen if everybody doesn't mind. So we're definitely happy. Let's see. So Oh man, so tell me a little bit about the test that you're taking in Georgia. I've taken it a few times. I didn't pass it my first time, and I know it kind of is irritating because you definitely have to have 2 weeks in between each time that you do that test. So let me know. Lena B, congratulations. Now, here's the thing. You got your license. Did you go to work in September? Last week, if you were here with us, last week we talked to a young lady. She actually got her license in October and she got deployed. So, was that you? Tell me about that. Tell me about that. Tell me about that. Tell me about that. Now, I would love to talk about Hurricane Ida pay. I would definitely love to talk about Hurricane Ida pay. In order to do that, like breaking down the numbers, how much I was being paid, how much my expenses were, and what was my net profit, because that's ultimately what matters. Let's get more people into the room, right? So keep the room filled. Share this video. You can share it right now while I get my slides up, while you put in questions into the chat. If you would like, you can also put your city and state. You can tell us kind of what you do now, too, to kind of help me kind of gauge who you are. You could throw your age out there. So I know, should I be talking a different lingo? You could tell me about what you've tried, where you are in your journey, because it is a nice little step. It's a journey for what we do. So like I said, I'm going to get my slides up here. Don't have them loaded yet. I should have had them loaded, but my timer was a lot shorter than I wanted it to be. It was only 5 minutes, but next week. Oh, by the way, we're only going to go for about 30 to 35 minutes. This is a quick Q&A, so don't wait and try to figure out, let me see what other people are going to ask. Don't wait and try to see if I just answer the questions. You got 35 minutes with me. I try to get straight to the point, but like I said, I do need to see your questions. That way I'm making sure that I'm actually delivering help to you. So hold on just a second while I get, let me see. I'm always using my Mac now. And so that is always a new challenge to try to figure out where my slides download at. Here they go. Okay, great. So now I'm going to share my screen, and I think you guys are up for a new treat. So, today though, while we are talking, I am going to go over, hey, listen, my deployment did end. It ended only after 6 weeks. Was it worth it? I was just talking to My friend from Texas, he actually texted me earlier today, asked me what I was going for Halloween, and I said, of course, a claims adjuster. I got my polo on, I got my ladder, all of that good stuff. So today we are going to talk about the end of the adjuster deployment and how to stay longer. Sometimes the longer you stay, you get more bonuses. And of course, you get more pay, right? So some people left after only 4 weeks or 30 days. I was able to stay a couple more weeks. I wanted to leave sooner than that, but they don't like you leaving early, which is why field adjusting and insurance adjuster isn't my best friend, because I don't like somebody to be able to tell me when and where to be. I prefer to have that freedom. So while you get your questions in, I got my slides up. Can you guys just let me know, is my screen showing? All right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So as always, let's take a look at a claim that I pulled up too. So our Tales from the Field won't play on this side. I got to do it from Canva. So let's share screen again and see if we can get this playing and functioning. And hopefully this sound shares too. It's only 15 quick seconds. So I was rolling up. This is right here in my backyard, really not very far from my house. One of the great things about being a public adjuster is that you never run out of work. Just that quick was that video. Let's watch it one more time. And when storms come around, homeowners have trees fall down. So like this job isn't just deployments. I know everybody always wants to work deployments, but deployments, they end. And so we're going to go over that here in just a bit. So if you don't know me, hi, my name is Ebahi. I am a claims adjuster recruiter. I actually got a promotion not too long ago. So I have been helping people find work since 2007. I remember one of the first gigs that I got for my friends and I were helping campaign in our local township. I lived in Cincinnati at the time during college. I did work at Google. My biggest success there was getting promoted for being good with training and bringing on new people. If you aren't aware and you're reaching out to me from, you may be reaching out to me from Facebook for the first time. You never you saw my YouTube channel, but I do have a YouTube channel and I do have an IG. So like videos that you just saw are actually also on IG. So you could check me out there at just Claims Adjuster of the Year. And then I've adjusted tons and tons of claims. I've been doing this job for a while now. I have licenses in, I think, 10 states. I think it's a full 10. I can go through that list if you guys ask me. And I've helped hundreds of people pass the exam and earn money in the industry, including somebody who worked at Waffle House for like 10 years and thought, you know what, I will never, ever be able to get a position because I don't have any experience. And I had to take that myth and knock it out of the park for that young lady. So she did really, really well in doing her thing and being able to get her position going. So let me see if I can share a new screen here and we get going. Okay, so and I've helped people pass the exam. You can see a couple people here. Let's go to the comments real quick, see what you guys have up there. I have helped several people pass the exam too, which is good because you can't do anything without that exam. So let's see what we have. Let's see, where do we go? So start back at the top. We had, let's see, Miss Franco, you failed 3 times. That's okay. I know somebody who was a summa cum laude in college and they failed their state exam 5 times. So don't worry, or at least 4 times. And my mom was a nurse. She took her RN test. It took her 5 times to pass. So don't give up. Keep going, because your job is dependent on it. Just got your Texas all lines. Great. In October, did you go to work? It's good to have the license, but if you're not going to work, doesn't matter. Carlos Price, I'm in my first deployment. Congratulations, Carlos. That's amazing. Let us know where you're deployed. Let us know where you are deployed and you're desk adjusting. Okay, good. See, we're getting a lot of desk adjusters. Last week, Carlos, you may be the star of the show this week. I can't remember who was the star last time, but Carlos, tell us like your journey, when you got licensed and when you got the deployment. Let's see. Are you a PA now or are you doing IA work? The great thing about living in the state of Georgia, you can hold both licenses. I am able to do what I do. I was just working as an IA in State Farm up in New Jersey, and now I am down here in Georgia doing my day job, which I love. Cleveland, Ohio. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. Fantastic. Looking for adjuster program and classes. So you have a unique situation because Ohio doesn't actually require the insurance license. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, if you stay into the end, we do have a company roster we want to get out to everybody. There's over 100 companies that you can research, you can look up, because not all companies post their jobs on Indeed. And the best part that you will have is you'll be able to get on our email list, and that email list has job openings that aren't posted on site. Sometimes they're not even posted on the company websites. And I have 2 employers right now who have contacted me and they're like, Ebahi, can you help train adjusters and can you send us adjusters? And I'm like, well, I may know 1 or 2 people. I may know a few people to get out there. So stay until the end and I'll get you a link for that so you can research, apply, and repeat. That way you can get to work. And what I was wanting to say about D Pope, because he lives in Ohio, there is a guide now that we created. Every single state we went through, we talked to every single insurance office. You can see an example here with Florida. We have broken down exactly what you all need in order to get the license. Though I think the one thing, and I'm happy you mentioned this, D Pope, we just need to go back and put in some courses who you can take. Like right now, we just tell you who you could get your exam, the requirements, the cost, who's hiring in those states, what licenses are offered in those states, and also what to do if your state doesn't offer that license, right? So that's also in there too. So that's a great guide if you are just like, man, okay, I'm ready to get going. What's my next step? It's so confusing, so much information out there. I'm looking left, right, and sideways for the information. I just want a guide to be able to tell me what I need to do. So I do have one-stop assistance available. Let me take off this banner for next week. So make sure we can tune in. Let's try to get 100 people here. So what we have is a 1-hour private consultation. We also do a resume rewrite. Harvard Review, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. If you don't remember anything, I want you to remember this. The Harvard Review did a study, and they said the automatic or the applicant tracking systems, when you go and you fill out the resume or you submit your resume and you fill out those forms and you have to put the same company information into that form, and then they want you to upload a cover letter, they want you to upload your license. They said they are rejecting millions of qualified candidates. That means people with experience, that means people who have done the jobs just based on very simple things. For example, one retail position was rejecting candidates if the resume did not have the term floor buffing. I've worked in retail before. I've never buffed the floor, not one time. But I could go back and work in retail. I could go back and work at a pizza place. That was my first job. So the system to actually get work, to get jobs is broken, okay? Especially if you don't have experience. But like I told you earlier, I've taken students, I've taken unexperienced, because you don't really know the key words to put in your resume. And it's really not about the key words either. You want to be able to speak the language. You don't just want to get the interview, you want to win the interview. But with Travelers, Geico, Progressive, I've gone through the process already for you guys. So I'm ready to be here and help. That's another reason why we do the 1-hour consultation, so I can teach you the language. And then we do have the Getting Started guide, which you see down here, the Beginner's Guide to Claims Adjusting, which has a whole bunch of goodies in there about how to get started, the differences between the different types of adjusting for what you want to do. It also goes through who to apply to, and a lot more actually in that guide, which I'm going to preview for you here in just a second, just so you guys know that it's there, it's available for you. Because I was lost. I mean, like when I first started adjusting, nobody had any type of help available, like at all. So it was really frustrating. But here's the guide. As you see, you can see the table of contents going from what is the claims adjuster, how to get licensed, how to get hired, what to do on a deployment, what training to get, and how to work year round, because that's the best part. And so, you know, it just going through just quickly some of the slides, how to get licensed, just the 1, 2, 3, very easy steps, 4, 5, 6 on after you complete the exam. My friend, I think your name is Jaka, is it, or Jaka? I think it is Jeka. So I'm thinking that, you know, you're ready to be here like after the exam, and you're ready. You're like, all right, I got this job and it's just waiting for me to pass, right? So, and employers have reached out to me. They're like, Ebahi, there are candidates out there, but we either can't find people who can either pass the exam, or they're looking for people who have who mainly it's really the exam, really in the licensing that holds people up. They're like, they're qualified candidates. We can teach them and train them. But you know, it's that licensing part that is a really big issue. So just didn't want you all to forget that option is out there. So also, you will need to know Xactimate. It's not, you don't really need to take a whole like $1,000 training package for Xactimate. It's really not that big of a deal, because you can learn on the job, but you don't necessarily want your first exposure to be there. So we also have some videos for you, private Facebook group. Again, the 50 state licensing guide. And I got Xactimate up there twice. And the best part, interview tips. So you can head to paypal.me/Ebahi if you're interested in that one-stop assistance, which does come with that resume rewrite. Okay. So now let's go ahead and get started. Understanding how deployments work. Now, I just came from a deployment. What happens? Why does it happen? How come some people get called? Let's see what Carlos is working on. Let's see if he got back to us. So he said he's on his first deployment, which is awesome, Carlos. Good job. He said he's desk adjusting. Let's see, Carlos, where else are you? He said he's in Florida, okay, which is great. He said he's been buying up states since he got hired for his deployment. And as of Friday, you have every state. All right, fantastic. I don't have every state, definitely do not. I have good states. I know which states to get, but definitely a good cost there to be able to get all the states. And then let's see, while I was waiting, I studied and passed my New York and got the Hawaii license. I had the New York license too. That's fantastic. Let's see what else we have here. Anybody? Let's see. Lavelle, she's on desk deployment. Don't you live in California? Let's remind me if you do. If you do, let's see if you are in California. And let's see. He said, okay, you got your license 3 weeks ago. Great. What did the desk adjuster ask me? When did you first notice blank? Does it matter if it's an old problem? Brother Danny, oh, I remember you from last week. Tell me a little bit more about that. And let's see. And we're trying to figure out who Carlos is deployed with. All right, good. Awesome. D Pope, can a felony from 2007 bar you from applying? I don't know. I truly don't know. Okay, so those are those types of legal questions. Here's the thing I say if you are questioning that, right? If you want to know, like, okay, am I going to be able to get the license or not? Take the test, see if you get the license. Because if you are able to, right, you've already got the exam and that part out the way. Okay. But if you aren't, then you'll know once you get that part done. So invest a little bit and see if it goes through. Most of the time I've had a few people who have had felonies, probably more recent than yours. The crime does matter. So just keep that in mind. It does depend on the crime. Some people are able to get it, no problem. Okay, let's see. Another question here. If you have license in Florida, but you physically live, let's say, in Georgia, when you apply for a Georgia license, do you apply for a resident or non-resident license on the NIPR? Okay, so let me make sure we have this question right. If your home license is Florida, but you physically live in, let's say, Georgia, when you apply for a Georgia license, do you apply for a resident or non-resident license on the NIPR website? Okay, so this is a hypothetical question, and I will say it can kind of depend on how you got the license, because some states do require a 40-hour course, some of them don't. And also, if you live in certain states, you may not have the reciprocity there too as well. Okay, so I'm going to answer that question specifically though once we get to the end, but let's go through my slides real quick and let's get down to what we're here for, right? How deployments work. All right, so make sure you take some notes here, because again, if you get a deployment, you want to be able to stay on that deployment. You don't want to just get that deployment and be gone in a week or be gone in 30 days and things of that nature. You want to be able to stay for a long time. So let's take some good notes. And as I stated, I'm going to go for probably about the next 15 minutes. So everybody, thanks. You've been asking fantastic questions. So again, just a reminder, if you're not aware, like the nature of a deployment, what happens is a very large event happens. Carlos and Lavelle, tell us what type of claims you're working. Are you working claims from like the Northeast, or are they daily claims? Tell us about that. Okay, so a large number of calls come in because homeowners don't actually know what's covered and what's not covered. That's why you really should, if you're in this business and you want to learn, you teach and you learn twice. So teach a homeowner how to understand the policy, how to understand coverage for their damage. So that large event first happens. Nobody can create a large event but Mother Nature. So when it happens, and all the firms are, not the insurance companies, but the firms that put you to work, they're kind of getting happy because they know a lot of money is about to come in, a ton of it. So there's a large number of adjusters that are needed. And by law, literally by law, the insurance companies have a certain amount of time to contact and to make payment when payment is due. If not, they can receive a lot of fines, including being punished by not being able to sell insurance in that state. Could you imagine if Liberty Mutual wasn't able to sell, like let's say in Tennessee, or if the number two carrier, or let's say the number one carrier for auto claims is Geico. Let's say if Geico got in trouble with the state of Ohio. They got in trouble. They couldn't do business in Ohio. Lotus Progressive, their headquarters, I don't know if their headquarters there, but they have a Nationwide and Progressive both have offices in Ohio. Headquarters, I think, in Ohio. So, like, what if they couldn't do business in all of Ohio? So they will pay whatever it takes to be able to keep collecting those lucrative premiums. Because, you do an hour for maybe $30, but they get hundreds and hundreds of dollars each and every single month, like clockwork, right? And the law supports it. That's why this is like the best industry, way better than real estate. So what happens? So you got to go out, you got to do work. Okay. I think, Brother Danny, I think you have experience. How long do you see deployments last? Okay, on average, I've seen them last about 6 weeks on average, right? And this is from people who dropped off the first week. This is from people who drop off the first 30 days, okay? So, on average, about 6 weeks, I see deployments last. Eventually, new claims stop coming in, okay? Like people who said, you know what, we didn't get that much damage. I'm not going to call my insurance company. Or some people may not have seen any damage, like maybe 2 weeks go by, a few people see water stains on their ceiling, and they may call the insurance company. You know why? Because they want a free roof inspection, which sucks for them because guess what? They have a claim out. You don't want unnecessary claims out. So again, that's why if you love your family, if you got a mom or a dad A loved one that owns a house, teach them how to understand their policy, teach them how to understand their damage. And that's what the best part of my job as a PA is, teaching other people. All right, so you literally may have 3 weeks in. You literally might do 3 weeks. On rare occasions, sometimes disasters are huge enough that they last 52 weeks. Examples of those would be Hurricane Katrina. I think Hurricane Harvey. There was a hurricane that came through. I want to say it wasn't Rita, but I just got Hurricane Ida in my mind. It was a lady who came through Georgia back in 2016. I want to say Rita. I don't know why I'm thinking Rita. Hurricane Matthew was a big one, but it didn't last 52 weeks. But, one of those big ones where people are going to be displaced, not living at home, those last crazy long. Okay. So here, how to stay longer on a deployment? Well, it's kind of like goes back to that Kennedy, President Kennedy, when he said, ask not what you can do for your country, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. What are you serving up to your employer? Why should they keep you? Why should they keep you? Okay, I got 60 people who came in with just a license and no experience. Why should I keep you? Out of everybody else that may have, there's other people that probably have more experience. So remember, I talked about Xactimate earlier, right? So you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on that training, but please be aware, those who do will probably stay longer than you. Then you have people like Carlos. Carlos said, you know what? I just went and bought up a whole bunch of my licenses. Well, did they, if you are in the States, let's say, for example, when I was up north, if you have that New York license, okay, you have to take a separate test, and most people don't want to take the test. You heard earlier on the call that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times people try to take that exam and get past it. And then you're going to tell them to turn around and take another test for California, Hawaii, and New York. People are like, nah, forget it. I'll take that one and I'll just get the reciprocal licenses for where I can. But you don't just, for me, I didn't just get any old licenses. I really was very strategic, but everybody has their own game plan. So my question is, again, how can you contribute to your employer? Are you certified at all? Are you willing to get up on a roof? Are you willing to travel? Are you willing to go to Podunk, Louisiana, where there may not be any electricity, where your claims might be 2 hours away, where the gas is high? Are you willing to do that? How else could you contribute, right, to your employer? Do you have, some other good skills that could be helpful? So we go over that during the resume consultation. And we also go through the 1 hour session to kind of get you guys in that mindset of, okay, oh, shoot, I didn't know this would be great for an insurance company. And not only do insurance companies hire, but other companies hire too, like Home Depot. Home Depot actually hires claims adjusters. So, and I know everybody would probably run to Home Depot and try to look it up, but it's actually not posted on their site. But I know several people who have adjusted claims for Home Depot. Okay, so other companies you could apply to: Alacrity. That's a really, really good one. Let's see, how long? You won't stay on deployment long if you don't have enough states. I don't know. It kind of depends. Kind of depends on the damage. If you have Texas and they had that storm in March, you might be okay. Let's see. So Lavelle, she says, mix of all types, but mostly Ida. Ida in what states? Let's see. All right. When I first called in, the lady asked, when did you first notice the leak? Yeah, once the adjuster got here, he asked the same question. There is water damage to the ceiling in the front room. Is this your house, Brother Danny? Yeah, insurance companies, number one, 2 questions that they ask, they're going to want to know what happened and when it happened, because they're going to try to find a way not to pay that claim. Okay, so that happens a lot. So you got to be able to tell them what you want or what happened. All right, so Carlos says, yeah, you definitely want that level 1 Xactimate. Man, I know a lot of senior adjusters that don't have it. I don't have my level 1 or level 2. I just think you just need to know how to use it, right? But it does look good on the resume. Carlos makes a good point. It does look very, very good on your resume. But it's better to actually know how to use it, I think, in my opinion, than just having the certifications to do that test. But yeah, you can go out and get that. So, like I mentioned, deployments do end. So, you want to figure out a way. And Carlos, that's why I left this quote up here, because Carlos is right. It is good to have, but I don't think it's like a make or break, in my opinion. But some people, everybody has their difference of opinion. And Carlos, clearly, I don't think you told us when you got your actual license, but Carlos is doing something right, right? And so then, okay, every deployment does end. Even Hurricane Harvey claims stopped coming in. Hurricane Rita, I don't think it was Rita, but Hurricane Matthew claims stopped getting in. So now I say, listen, yeah, Carlos is absolutely right. Yeah, you definitely want to have that Xactimate level 1. That might be able to get you going again. You might want to go through and have different types of licenses. That might be able to get you going again. Those are really, really good ways. But here's my favorite. Number 1, you keep your licenses active. You do have to complete, state law requires you do have to complete 24 CE credits. Okay, those are required about every 2 years. Every state is a little bit different, and every license is different too, because there's adjuster licenses, general adjuster license, PNC licenses. All of them may have different requirements depending on what state you're in. So that's why it's like, if you're trying to figure this thing out and you're like, man, I can't get a grasp on what to do and how to do it, and I didn't even know I needed credits, and otherwise my license will lapse and expire, and then I wouldn't even be available for a deployment, or I couldn't get a deployment. And then like this last one, some deployments, maybe you don't even need a license to go actually get it, because that happens too. Okay, so little tricks of the trade that you pick up. Hone your skills. Okay, Carlos just mentioned Xactimate. This is a picture. If you've never used Xactimate, you've never seen this before, you probably want to invest in seeing what is Xactimate. At least try to get a feel for like what to do. What does it do? Is there anybody on this call right now? Put a 1 on this call if like you never used Xactimate. Just type a 1 in the chat. If you've never used Xactimate or you don't know what it's for. And then number 3, you gotta bring your resume to life. Resumes still are like so such that way that communicates to an employer that you want them to hire you and for them to pay you. So use your resume to leverage what you got, okay? But don't just put on there claims adjuster, okay? Don't just put on there, I got this license. It's just not going to get you as far. You really have to know how to write a good resume. It's not just about not having errors either, okay? Because, resumes are cool. They are cool, but really the best way to get a job is not actually through your resume. It's just a piece of paper, and there's so many candidates that hire. And I told you guys earlier, the Harvard Business Review, they said millions of people are submitting resumes and they're qualified candidates and they're being rejected. Boom, offer it. Okay. So listen, again, you all, oh man, I'm right on time to go into the Q&A. Don't forget you can join our free job list. It's 100% free. Just go to majoradjusters.com/roster-list. And that way you can get caught up on who's hiring, who's asking me for candidates. You can get caught up on, you don't even have to go out and search. Okay. So it's one email every single Monday. And I do send a reminder for these meetings just in case you do have Q&A. So Carlos, we got to talk more. So Carlos, 2009 is when you got your first license. And is this the first deployment you worked? Okay, let's ask Carlos that while I go back and answer these other questions. Number 1, Jose, you never used or heard of Xactimate. Brother Danny never used. Now, if you do have an issue going on at your house, also go to our website. You can leave a comment there, majoradjusters.com, and then I can maybe kind of guide you through that. I love helping homeowners. So if you send me, Brother Danny, if you send me your policy, let me educate you on that and we'll go through that. Okay. Let's see. If you knew of the leak and didn't try to prevent further damage, you could be denied. Yep, you could be. You could be. Even if it happened the same day. Even if it happened the same day, insurance companies are not built to help you. Okay, they're really not built to help you. They're built to go through the provisions of the policy. And the policy does state that it is the homeowner's job to take measures to prevent further damage. So let's say you noticed the shingle missing from your roof, okay? And that shingles was there for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 days, and you didn't put a tarp on there. And then a few weeks later, then you notice that water damage, they could deny that. Okay, not just the inside, but they could deny the outside too, because you didn't prevent the roof from being covered. Okay, so she's right. Lavelle is absolutely right. So that's something. Now here's the bonus points. All right, so we got 4 minutes left. Lavelle Brown, please tell us what the policy language says. Let's see. Let's see how good these new deployed adjusters are. All right, let's see. Let's see. Jose says, I got my license in Texas next week. This will be New York. Should I apply for a job or wait? I don't have any training at all. Well, are you going to be applying for jobs for New York? For me, I say there's no time like the present, but it may be a waste of time to apply before you get the license. Okay, so you have some very unique questions too. Again, you could go to majoradjusters.com, ask on our comment section, and we'll try to get some more information. But also, guys, I do have that one-stop shop assistance because my time, I just only have 168 hours in the week, just like the rest of you. So I only take 20 people each month to go through the 1-hour consultation. That way I can go through like, hey, listen, let's go through, make sure that you're good, you're set. I can do 1 a day. I try not to do more than that, but I'm trying to make sure you guys have like my full attention and I can answer those specific questions for you. So we have this other questions about if you live in, if your home license is in Florida, but you physically live in, let's say, Georgia, okay? So that's like maybe you live in Georgia. When you apply for a Georgia license, you apply for a resident or non-resident license. Well, if you have your resident adjuster Florida license, I would say go ahead and get the non-resident license for Georgia. Non-resident license. Now, if you live in Ohio, that wouldn't apply to you. Okay, you want to get your DHS. See, so remember I said, listen, she asked a hypothetical question. If you have a home state license in Florida, but let's say you live, in Ohio, would you apply for an Ohio license? No, you would not. Okay, because Ohio doesn't even offer the license. So, it's very specific. So you guys might want to go ahead, get that 50 state guide so like you can know specifically what you need for your home state. Now, Carlos answered. So Carlos had the 2019 was when he got his license. And this is his first deployment. I didn't know all the steps, and there is a lot of steps. It took Carlos 2 years. 2 years, right? That's like when I got started, it was like 18 months. So for people who like, when I thought I was getting in, I thought, oh, I'm going from license to adjusting. I'm going to be making this life-changing money. Boom. All I need is the license. It's just not so for everybody, but he is deployed now. Last week, if you were here, somebody got their license in October and they were deployed in the same month. So how does that happen? What's the difference between Carlos and she lived in Texas? Carlos lives in Florida. Lavelle has been an audience subscriber with me for some time. Okay, I think this is her first deployment. So it takes time. So that's why it's like no time for the present. So if you have situations, legal situations and things of that nature, consult somebody who can maybe get you an answer right away and get moving, guys, because you don't know when that opportunity is coming up. When is hail season? Before I answer that, do you have your license? Because it doesn't matter if you don't have your license yet. We got maybe one or two more questions. Let's see. What other carrier would hire a virtual desk adjuster other than State Farm? I'll be honest with you, Ed. I don't know who would or would not. I mean, it could be everybody or it could be just a few other people. Just apply. Don't, guys, here's the lessons from this question right here. Here's the lesson from this question right here, and we'll wrap it up because I don't want to hold you more than what I told you. Don't narrow yourself into a position. Just get the license and apply. Apply to I just told you, Carlos, it took him 2 years. Get the license and apply. I know people want to work from home. I get it. I know it's so much better. I know some people only want to work in the field. I know I'm like that. But get the license, get applying, and just cast a wide net and let the opportunities. I had somebody comment, hey, I want to do yacht and commercial claims. It's like, that's great, but there's not that many of them. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get paid more, well, you're going to have like, it's kind of like when you go out for a fancy dinner, right? You do that maybe a few times a year, but you might eat Subway or fast food out every day. That's like that'll be more money every single day you eating versus that one-time dinner. Okay, so don't be narrow focused in this industry. Real estate may be king. Yes, it makes more when it comes to the GDP. However, insurance is like the sun. It touches everything. So there are claims adjusters needed. Claims adjusters are needed for every industry. Okay, and there's just no downside to becoming a claims adjuster. Okay, it's a very lucrative industry. Okay, thank you all for watching. Again, my name is Ebahi. If I can help you make money in this very lucrative industry, would you let me? Don't forget, guys, to go out, get the roster list, get on that job list so you can have that opportunity. And if you need that guide, you can go to paypal.me/Ebahi. paypal.me/Ebahi, Ebahi, and get that personal assistance from me. Okay, we'll be back next week at 10 o'clock with a brand new topic. I told you if you get to 100, we can start going over numbers, showing you what you're going to really, really make. Okay, all right, everybody, have a good night.